Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions regarding this watch. Today, we're discussing a fascinating and original complication from Hublot, launched in 2018. This was a boutique and online exclusive for Hublot itself, created in conjunction with pro golfer Dustin Johnson. It is the Big Bang Unico Golf, and it features a combination of a hole counter and a shot counter, and it is full of golf imagery. It is very light, being made entirely of titanium, texalium, carbon fiber, and sapphire. The watch is 45 millimeters in diameter, 18.4 millimeters thickened from lug tip to lug tip, 57.4 millimeters, but don't run screaming. It wears surprisingly well, even on my wrist. Now, it's big. You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to somehow hide this under a cuff or pass it off as a Datejust or a dress watch. This thing is loud and proud, so if that's not you, look elsewhere. But if you are golf inclined, you like cool mechanical watchmaking, complications, and wrist presence, this watch has got all of the above. And it actually fits on my wrist. It sits on my wrist. It's probably a little bit too big visually, so I would say maybe 17 centimeters circumference and up. The watch is going to look right, but in this wrist size, it feels right. It's really comfortable. Part of that is because the angular orientation of the lugs, you see how there's sort of this pent roof implied, and the angularity of the lugs sort of wraps it around the wrist. We have this lovely hybrid of perforated white leather and rubber, just like golfing gloves. It's a really cool look. We also have a blackened titanium folding clasp with a little ceramic insert externally. Now, the length that's cropped away when you size it goes under the clasp and under the strap body, so there's no minder loops, there's no flapping extension of unused strap visible. It's a very clean look, and because we have a twin trigger release, this cannot pop open by accident. You can also see that the inside, the little chassis of it, is an Hublot H, which is a nice piece of attention to detail. The case, well, at least the innermost case, is made of titanium. That's the part that endows the watch with 100-meter water resistance. The outer case is a combination of these polymer inserts on the side, polymer bezel gasket, carbon fiber top and bottom plates, as well as bezel, and then the uppermost level of the case and the bezel covered with something called texalium, which is a combination of aluminum and fiberglass that has a really lively look to it. It even has some of the three-dimensional chatoyancy of a traditional French rubbed piece of wooden furniture, so that's really cool. It's almost like it has depth to it and you look into it. We have a little reset trigger for the golf complication, and note it's designed to look like a golf tee. We have a little bit of texturing or striation outboard of the bezel. That is because the bezel is supposed to read like the head of, or the handle of a club. A little bit of that too in the design of the crown. And then we have the image of the club's actual driver or putter extension down at the bottom of the shaft. And I can't quite tell you whether these are drivers or putters, but these are definitely the heads of the club, and the reference is immediately obvious. Also very cool, this crown unlocks in a quarter turn and then relocks in a quarter turn, and it gives you 100-meter water resistance, but instantaneously with a quarter turn, you pull it out, and now you're setting the watch. And then it just locks right back into place. It's a really slick system. We have Hublot H pattern bolts. You can see they're actually little Hublot H's in the bezel. We have a push-button quick-release system, so you can pop the strap right off with ease if you want to swap the strap to something that looks a little bit different. And look carefully here. We'll get as close as we can. But inside the buckle, there is a pull-tab spring bar, so you can also pop the buckle off the strap and remount the buckle on a different strap without tools. Taking a quick look all the way around, we have a little bit of a rubber head on the crown that makes it easier to grip, and a dial that is loomed. We'll do a Lume Shot now. Okay, so the golf complication, how does this work? Fairly simply. So once you are on a hole, say hole 1, you can start counting your shots. And I have to say that the action is very positive. You can see the spring and the jumper in the upper corner. It really has a very slick feel to it. And then you can also set the new hole. And every time you set a new hole, it resets the shot count. And then finally, you can reset everything back to 1 using the trigger over at 8 o'clock. The dial has a nice open aesthetic to it. You can really see all the discs that underpin the system, and it's really neat. There's several different sapphires, and if you look, you can see that the skeletonized disc that represents the shot sits over a yellow backing. And then there's a little sapphire disc that features the numeral for the hole, and that sits over a white backing. And if you look carefully at all the metal components underneath, they're mechanically finished, but very handsomely mechanically finished. This is a fetching movement on both sides. It is Unico based, but it's not a chronograph. So it's automatic winding with ceramic ball bearings, 72-hour power reserve. You can see this is the caliber 1580 right there, and it beats away at 4 hertz. Though you can't see it really easy. I'll do my best to focus this down. There's a full synthetic silicone escapement that operates unlubricated, anti-magnetic, low friction with minimal oscillating mass, and then Edicron is used for fine-tuning the error and the beat rate. It's got a dual-anchored balance bridge to make it more shock susceptible in case you do dare to play golf wearing your golf watch. The movement is nicely sized. It fits this case well. It claims full adjusted, which I take to mean 5 positions, which is considered to be the high horology and chronometer standard. 6 is really full, but I think this is meant to imply that it is 5 position adjusted. It pivots on 43 joules. It does have a stop seconds function, although it's a little bit academic since the watch doesn't include a seconds hand, but it's good to know that that function is there. And although this is a golf-themed watch, it and its 3-day power reserve are perfectly amenable to taking a splashdown in the pool when you are cooling your heels after 18 holes. Just, watch out for the Baby Ruth bar. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.